Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I am going to be doing this half drugstore, half high-end makeup tutorial. So many people have requested that I do this because I have so much high-end makeup and I have so much drugstore makeup, but some of them are just such good dupes for each other. I know that makeup can be so expensive, so to get a full face of makeup that looks so good is really handy. So I thought I would do this video today just to kind of show you the dupes that are available and to show you that drugstore makeup is just as good as high-end makeup. So I really hope you guys enjoy. If you do, remember to smash a huge thumbs up, and other than that, let's just get started. Jumping straight on in with the makeup tutorial, I'm first going to show you guys what I use to kind of prep my skin for all of the makeup. So I first of all use the Tarte Brighter Days moisturiser. I love this moisturiser. I recently got it. Probably used it for about 2 weeks now and it's so good. So I just prep my skin using that. And then I moisturise my lips with the EOS Lip Balm in Strawberry Sorbet, just to give them a bit of moisture, you know, before I start putting matte lip products all over them. And then I primed my skin with the POREfessional primer from Benefit. Now I'm aware we're doing a half and half face, but I don't actually have a drugstore primer. I had to bin them all because I had them for way too long and it would have just been bad to put them on my skin. So I just use this, but realistically primer shouldn't really matter for this video, but that's the one that I have used. We are going to start off with the high-end side. So I've got my beauty blender and I've got the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. So I think we should do this side high-end, this side drugstore. We are going to get a little bit of this and we're going to put this on the side of my face. Now I haven't used this in a long time. Realistically, I don't know how this is going to blend. I don't really know how it's going to do. Like, I feel like it's an okay colour match for me, which is a good start for a high-end foundation because I feel like all high-end foundations are very orange toned. This kind of looks like what I've been actually looking for. Then we're just going to go in with my damp beauty blender. I am going to be using 2 different beauty blenders for the purpose of this video, just so we can get a kind of even test. And I'm just going to draw a line. Don't get me wrong, it's giving me coverage, but I really like going with my coverage. I love full looking skin, you know, but I don't know if this is giving it to me. Although saying that, when I blend it a bit more, it actually is kind of giving me full coverage, and compared to the other side of my face, you know, it has covered my redness quite well because I haven't colour corrected in today's video. Overall, I think it's a really pretty foundation. You know, we've got a kind of like flawless to a point finish. You can see a bit of my redness underneath it, but you know. For the drugstore side, I've got my new beauty blender and I'm going to go in with the Rimmel London Lasting Finish 25-hour breathable foundation. Now this claims to be medium coverage. Let's pop this on my skin and see how it is. This is actually going to be a first impressions. I picked this up today. Okay, it's definitely more yellow toned than the other one, which I don't know how this is going to go down. So there it is on my skin, although on the camera it does look okay. So I'm just going to take my beauty blender and we are going to bounce this baby into my skin. Now straight off the top you can see that it is 2 different colours, but I actually feel like this colour suits my skin better than the Born This Way one, because I feel like the Born This Way one is really light. This one is kind of like more natural, do you know what I mean? So I mean, that's the only thing I'd say about this foundation. I am kind of having to double layer it up. However, I am loving the coverage now I've put on a second layer. That's what we're going for on the skin. As you can see, they are 2 very different shades, but like I said, once we've kind of concealed and bronzed, it will look very similar, but they're very similar in consistency. They're very similar in coverage, if not exactly the same coverage. So considering the Born This Way one is over £30 and the Rimmel one is £8, I feel like we have found a winner on the drugstore side. Going back in with high end, we're going to be using the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. Now again, this is very pale. This is definitely not going to do me any favours in adding more colour to my skin, but it is very good coverage and it spreads far. And then we're just going to go back to the other beauty blender and carry on blending this. I mean, as you guys can see, the coverage is just next level from this concealer and it is amazing. It's a lot of money and to ship it over it does cost quite a bit of money, but you know, it's amazing. For concealer on the drugstore side, I am going to go in with the Milani Retouch and Erase Light Lifting Concealer, and I haven't used this again in a while, so you know, the colour difference is kind of annoying me, and I feel like this concealer is actually, oh, I don't know though, is it dark or is it light? I mean, it's a bit lighter. I'm going to add quite quite a bit on, just so I can hopefully kind of lighten it up a bit, because, you know, this foundation is quite considerably darker. And going back to the other beauty blender, we're gonna blend. That's definitely lightened the foundation up a lot. And this concealer's really, really good coverage. I picked this up in a shop at Westfield Stratford. I think it's the Stratford one anyway, or maybe it is the Shepherd's Bush, but I'm pretty sure it's the Stratford one. And I can't remember what it's called, but I will link it down below. It's a really, really good concealer, because obviously Milani is American based. As you can see, the coverage that it's given me is insane. Overall, this side feels more dewy and this side feels more matte. I like quite a dewy finish, so I am going to bake. I still like a dewy finish. So for the high end side, I'm going to be powdering my face with the Beauty Bakery Flour. I don't actually have a baking powder for the drugstore side, I just have a matte powder. So I'm just going to use a MAC angled brush. I'm just going to dip this in and then just kind of powder my face. I don't think I'm going to leave it on there kind of set for a long time, because like I said, I don't have a drugstore setting powder, although I have heard that the Rimmel London one is very, very good. And then I'm just going to kind of brush it away almost immediately, just because I'm not going to bake today. This was just to kind of mattify my face down a little bit, just to bring a bit more colour back. Although I do love this Beauty Bakery powder, and it's really good when you're contouring to kind of cut it into a very sharp line. I use this Beauty Bakery powder a lot, and I think it's really, really good. Now for my drugstore side, I'm going to go in with my trusty Rimmel Stay Matte powder that is looking very worse for wear. Put my Real Techniques brush in it and just brush it all over my skin. I love this powder. It's an absolute classic. It's £4 versus this one, which is like 25, and it's so good. I feel like it had its time, and years ago like everybody was using it. On camera the sides might look very different, but to me now they look almost identical. We need to add some brows to this face because my brows are looking very, very bare. For the high end side, we're going to go in with the classic Anastasia Beverly Hills dip brow. Mine is in the shade Taupe, and I am aware that I do need to change the shade of my dip brow, but it is nearly running out. I love this pomade so much. I really didn't used to like it. I had quite a lot against it actually, but once you start using it into the pot and you get kind of like to the middle of the pot, it's like one of the best things ever. I just love it. That is the brow done for the high end side, and now for the drugstore side, I'm going to go in with what everybody says is a dupe for that exact brow pomade, and this is the Freedom Be Free to Makeup pomade. Mine is in the shade Ash Brown, so I actually feel like this is going to be a bit of a better shade, although it does look very similar. I haven't actually used it before, so this is going to be a bit of a first impressions as well, but I see everybody say that this is such a good dupe for it, so... Oh no! Oh god, it definitely is darker though. Kind of liking it. It's very smooth to go on. It's definitely not clumpy. And it's giving me a really nice colour actually. I think I kind of need this colour all the time. I was so close to buying blonde, but something told me to buy this colour. That's really easy to create an arch. Yeah, I really like that. I really like that a lot. Kind of prefer it. So we're just going to create kind of fade at the front, just flicking it up. Brows are on, and I'm not going to lie, I definitely prefer this side. So the Freedom Brow Pomade is winning at the moment. Now we're going to go in and contour this skin. So for the high end side, I'm going to be using the Park Avenue Princess palette from Tarte, and I'm obsessed with this palette. I recently was just talking about it in my vlogs, and I think it's such a beautiful one to have. I'm going to use this brush from Real Techniques, and I'm just going to mix all 4 of the shades together. This is extremely pigmented for a contour, as you can see straight away, but it is quite hard to blend once you've put it on. It kind of just wants to stay put and doesn't really want to move. Then I'm just going to go in and I'm going to do the same just up here on my temples, just to kind of add a bit more colour back, because this side was very, very light. And then, as I keep saying in all makeup tutorials, contouring here makes me look like I've got a foundation line, but it helps, so we're doing it anyway. But for the drugstore side, I'm going to be using the Revolution Ultra Sculpt and Contour Kit in the shade Light to Medium. The palette looks like this, and I'm just going to take this shade here. Again, whoa, that is pigmented, but oh my god, this is so pigmented. It's actually darker than the other side, and it's super, super pigmented, which means this is going to take some blending. But as you can see, like, that side is pigmented, don't get me wrong, but this side is killing the game. For the high-end side, I'm going to be using the Too Faced Papa Don't Peach Blush, and I haven't actually used this before. Actually, no, I have used this before, but not for a long time. Just going to pop this in here. I don't know how pigmented it's going to be. Oh, that's so, so pretty. I love it. it. So I don't know how well you guys can see it, but in real life, that's super pretty. Like, it's rare that I find a blush that I really, really like. There's only a rare few, but I love that. And then for the drugstore side, we are going in with the classic Sleek Rose Gold blush. This is a dupe for the NARS Orgasm, and I do have the NARS Orgasm blush, but I just thought I'd use that one today. They look very, very similar. I'd say this one's a little bit more rosier. You know what? They look very, very, very similar. Now we're going to go in with eyes, and we're going to see what we can do for the eye look. So for the high-end side, I am going to be using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette, and then for the drugstore side, I'm going to be using the Soph X Revolution palette. I wanted to try both of these at the same time for so long. They have some very similar shades in that I feel like I'm going to be able to create a really pretty look with. So as you can see, Sophie's palette does have a lot more of a vast shade range. There's some very similar shades, so I feel like I'm going to do a kind of orangey purple toned look today. I kind of know what vibe I'm going to go for. So we are first of all going to take the Beverly Hills palette, and I am going to go in with the shade Burnt Orange, and I'm just going to pop this all on the crease just as my base shade. The thing is with the Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, all the colours are so pigmented that you barely need any of the eyeshadow, so you don't really get that much fallout, but the colours are just so pigmented. So realistically, I do think this palette is worth the money, but there's some amazing drugstore palettes out there that are also worth the money. Now I'm going to go in with the Soph Revolution palette, and I'm going to take this shade in the corner here. This is a very, very, very similar shade, so oh my god, that's so pigmented. I also love the massive mirror in the Soph palette. I'm just going to put it out there, these look very similar shades, but I do prefer the drugstore shade. Now we're going to go in with the high-end side again, and I'm going to take the shade Realga, which is like a orangey kind of shade, and I'm just going to pop this all along the crease, and we're going to blend it right into the inner corner. I think orange eyeshadows are so pretty, and there's some really pigmented ones out there. Then going back to the drugstore side, I am going to take this shade here, where is it? There. And I'm just going to pop this again all on the crease. This has got a slight undertone of shimmer, which is going to be different to the other eye, and as you can see, they are starting to differ a little bit in colour, but it shouldn't be too bad when I start to add all the other colours. The drugstore side has definitely gone a bit lighter than the high-end side now, so I am just going to build this up. And the pigmentation of this Revolution palette as well, I'm sorry, I don't think I've ever seen a more pigmented palette. But now we're going to go in with the high-end side again, and I'm going to take the shade Love Letter, which is this kind of purpley pink here, and I'm just going to pop this in my outer corner and really build it up. But I really want to create a vast outer corner shade, but I don't want it to be red, I want it to be kind of purpley toned. That is so pretty. I love that so much. Now to kind of duplicate that, we're going to go in with this shade here. The only difference is from this palette, this shade is shimmery, but hopefully that shouldn't make too much of a difference when building it up, because to be honest, the majority of my eyes are shimmery anyway. And the pigmentation of this shade as well is incredible. Like, I don't think I'm ever going to get over how pigmented this palette is. Like, Sophie, you have done well, girl. Ignoring the fact that it's kind of gone like everywhere, that is what the eye look is looking like so far. I am going to cut it, so there's no need to worry about it kind of going everywhere. I am now going to go back in with the high-end side, and I'm going to take the shade Tempera, which is this white shade in the corner here, and I'm going to bring it up from the middle corner and do kind of a half cut crease using a GWA flat eyeshadow brush. I'm not cutting the crease to the point as well that I need to use concealer. I don't want to do that. I just want to create bit more of a dimension effect when I'm kind of like blinking. And then once all that is blended, that's what that side will look like. So then I'm going to go in with the Soph Does Nails palette again, using the same brush for the opposite side, and using the completely matte white shade, which I'm buzzing to use. Oh my, that matte white shade is incredible. Like, that's purely matte white, and it's actually so pigmented. Oh my, I can't get over this. Oh my god. Like, I actually genuinely prefer this eye. Like, I'm not just saying that, I genuinely prefer it. Here are the two eyes, what they're looking like right now. And now I'm going to go in with another colour from the Modern Renaissance. And I'm going to use the shade Primavera, which is a kind of light goldy colour. And I'm just going to pop this on here just to kind of blend them along. I feel like we just need a bit of a shimmery shade on the lid just so it doesn't look so matte. And then this will really reflect under under my eyelashes as well, so that will look super pretty. And then to duplicate that on the drugstore side, this is the perfect kind of gold shimmery shade. So I'm going to use this shade here and pack that on in the exact same place. The Soft Nails palette definitely is more gold toned. The other one was kind of a bit more brassy. Now it is time for some eyeliner. Now I feel like on the high end side, this is where this is kind of gonna go a bit of a mess. I'm using the Benefit They're Real push-up liner, and don't get me wrong, I love Benefit so much. They're one of my favourite makeup brands, but this eyeliner is so hard to work with. So we're just gonna line the eye. I mean, nothing's even coming out. It's just rock hard. It comes through after a while, it just takes a long time for it to come through. It's a really good eyeliner, but it's definitely not my favourite. That took me literally like 5-10 minutes to get that wing, and it's just kind of all over the place. So don't really know how I feel about that, but for the drugstore side, I'm going to go in with the Eyeko Skinny Liquid Eyeliner in black. And I actually really like this. I mean, it's not that skinny, it does the job. Some days I have really good eyeliner days and some days I have bad days. Today is a very, very, very bad day. Now I've got some lashes on. These lashes were from GWA, so they're only £3, so even though they're not high end, I didn't want to use like 2 different lashes, you know. For the high end side, I am going to be using the Benefit Bad Gal Bang Mascara, and then for the drugstore side, I'm going to be using the Maybelline Total Temptation to blend my lashes into my real lashes. So the Bad Gal Bang Mascara is insane. I have used this without having falsies on and I'm in absolute love with it. I think it's amazing. I'm not gonna lie, when I saw they were releasing another mascara, so I was lucky enough to go to the launch, I was like, really, another mascara? But it's so good. Like, it said it took them 4 years to kind of make, and I can so see why. Then for the drugstore side, going in with the Maybelline Total Temptation. This is also a brand new mascara and is an amazing drugstore dupe for it. They're very, very similar. The ones are different, but the finishes are similar. Now we're going to go in with some highlights. So for the high-end side, I am going to be using the Ofra highlight. Now, guys, if you've been following me for a long time, you're going to know I love this. Ofra highlighters are definitely the best from a high-end price. I genuinely forgot how much I love these, but you can see immediately the difference. And then just to highlight the end of my nose, oh my god. I am going to take one of my Tarte kind of thicker headed brushes and just give it a big of a blend, because, you know, I don't want it to look as though it's just kind of dumped on my face. I actually want it to look blended in. Then for the drugstore side, I'm going to go in with Sophie's other palette, and this is a highlighting palette, and I'm going to use a mixture of all 4 of the top shades. And again, these highlighters are insane. Such a good drugstore dupe for the Ofra, because as you can see, super pigmented as soon as you put them on your cheeks. And then I'm just going to pop that on the other end of my nose, and as you can see, they almost, well, they basically do give identical finishes. Like, they've blended so nicely. For lips, I'm going to go with a very, very nude lip. So for the high end, I'm going to use my ultimate favourite lipstick of all time, and this is the Too Faced Melted Matte Liquefied Matte Lipstick. It's my ultimate favourite. I wear it all the time. I've got 2 NYX lingeries here, and looking at them, I think the top one is going to be more suited, and the top one is Silk Indulgent. So I'm just going to pop this on the high-end side, but I can't talk whilst I'm doing it, I'm sorry. There is the high-end side done. I just love this lipstick so much. It's my ultimate favourite lipstick ever. Let's try and beat it with the NYX Lingerie in Silk Indulgent. I've actually changed my mind and I'm going to swap it to the shade Cashmere Silk, because those were too pink toned, but it's a little bit more brown toned rather than pink. They look so similar. So that is the end of this video. I really hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, remember to smash a huge thumbs up. Let's see if we can smash 10,000 likes on this video. Comment down below and vote on the poll which side you think looked better. And other than that, I really hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you on Sunday at 10 AM for a brand new video. Bye!